And thanks so much for tuning in to our live show on this Monday morning. I'm Cheryl Miller. Excessive spending can cause you to go into debt, but so can a lot of other things like a medical emergency or maybe an unexpected repair. Richmond money expert Bryan is back today with tips on how you can get back on track and on the road to becoming debt-free. Hi, JB.
Hi, Cheryl. Great topic today.
Yeah. We referred to debt as a four-letter word earlier when we were teasing the segment. And for a lot of people, it is a dirty word. They don't even want to think about debt.
Yes, but in reality, there is a way to think of there's some good debt and there's bad debt. And bad debt really is debt that you have acquired by purchasing once. Typically, credit card balances have been acquired through just buying things that you wanted to have, some clothes, some extra, just a shopping spree, and you accumulated this. Basically, you're living beyond your means.
Right.
When you have a credit card balance and you're working every day and you have this balance at a high interest rate, the average annual interest rate for credit cards is 15%.
Yeah, and so that thing that you bought that may have been on sale, by the time you finish paying for it, you've paid much more for it.
I'm so glad you said that. You could double, triple the price of it over time because if you're only paying the minimum payments, where a good debt may be things that you're buying for, you're financing something that you need, like shelter. And over the long term, in many cases, purchasing a mortgage, having a mortgage over the long term could benefit you more than renting over the long term. So when a mortgage could be considered a good debt, it's questionable to think of a car loan as a good debt.
Well, if you need a car, though, for transportation to get to a job in order to earn money, then maybe that can be considered good debt?
Or you could save and purchase something that you really could afford. Like it's small, a car loan or a car purchase is small enough that it is something that you could save up for. But we've kind of moved that option over to the side and said no, because I can get this better vehicle, I can get this brand new vehicle by financing it. And you can, but it is something that you want to avoid doing.
And that's a good example of good versus bad debt, because if you need basic transportation, you can get basic transportation, but you just want maybe a luxury vehicle.
That's right.
And there's a difference in the two.
That's right. And those type of debts really should not be more than 20% of your income. So when you look at it that way, that your car and your credit card shouldn't be over 20% of your income, a lot of people out there would say differently, would say, oh my goodness, my car payment is half of what I'm taking home. And that's really out of line. So that's the things that you want to avoid. And there are ways that you can actually become debt free. And I like to think of them as like two different ways. You could do what's called laddering, where you put down and I say write because you really have to get organized about this, that you have to write down what your interest rate is on each debt and start with your highest interest rate at the top. Or you could do what's called snowballing, and this is most popular. People like to get rid of their small debts first, and it leads up to getting rid of their larger debt later. But interest rates really are the key, because even though you feel good with the small debt being taken care of and out of the way, you're really still paying an extreme amount of interest rate on that higher interest rate charge on those higher credit card balances. So you might end up paying off something with a lower interest rate because you just want to get that small one out of the way, but really focus on extra payments on the debts that have the highest interest rate.
Because the key is we want to be able to check something off the list. So maybe go for one of those small ones and then tackle the higher interest rates so that you really can pay down your debt. So you like the
snowball. you like to see something gone also.
I do. I mean, I like to check, everybody likes to, I think, to check something off the list and get it done. So let's talk about habits, because we talked about want versus need, and we have to break some habits in order to break the debt cycle.
And a big habit that we have to adapt in order to become debt-free is organization. You need to set up, I think, a pretty place, a very organized, clear place in your home that you can take care of all your bills. Have a nice file cabinet, have a really organized desk, have and it doesn't have to be this elaborate software system that you're paying monthly payments for, because then you're pulling away from your goal to reduce your expenses. But it needs to just be organized so that every month you can analyze how far you've come on either paying off highest interest rates or paying off those small ones. You have to know where you are, and the only way to do that is to, when bills come in, where do you put them? Where are they? And a big habit is communicating. communicating with your family and communicating with those that you owe money to, because things happen and people have debts, and say you lose your job, you have to learn to communicate with your creditors.
We can't ignore the bills.
You cannot ignore them. Even though it's easier, they feel like it's easier, it could destroy your credit, over just a short-term problem.
And a lot of times, if you communicate with them, they'll set up a plan for you because they want to get their money.
Yes, very good point. They want to get the money. They want to not have to charge it off or just get rid of it. They want to know that you're there, because they're just like, calling to no one. So you want to develop really good habits of communicating with your family that we have to reduce our debts. And if you're married, make sure that your spouse is on board, that you're not paying down and they see that there's a balance available and they're going to the mall to fill up that balance again. So we have to talk about it and make sure that everyone's buying into that. The more we reduce these debts, the better our chances of a better lifestyle down the road, so that we can retire at the time that you want, or put more money into your retirement accounts, or educate your kids in the fashion that you want to. But if your debts are out of control, it makes it difficult to accomplish the financial goals that you have for you and your family.
So today's lesson: live within our means and pay off those debts as soon as we can.
Amen. Any way you want.
Thank you, JB.
Pay them off. Thank
and
you.
You can up your financial literacy at a free money seminar offered by JB Bryan, Wednesdays at noon and Saturday mornings at 10 at our office in Glen Allen. These seminars are absolutely free, best price available, but pre-registration is required. If you'd like to get more information, just visit us online at WTVR.com